Oh, wake up, son. Morning, folks. It's this may be the vlog that never ever makes it to the light of day. It's Thursday, the week before opening weekend. I don't even know if I'm going to get this out. Anyway, so this is kind of like a just in case footage, just in case I do manage to edit it and get it out. So let's start with the bad news. There's been a storm going through. If you live in the northwest, I'm pretty sure that you've seen or had it already. It hit us on Sunday, thunderstorm and like torrential rain, ridiculous. So it's been very dry and dusty up here, and a lot of like quite a thick layer of surface just dust. And unfortunately, that surface dust got carried down into the drains, filled the drains, and then the rain just kept coming, and it overflowed the drains and basically started getting rivers running down stuff. Now, I knew it was going to be, there was going to be stuff to fix and clean up, but I got in Monday morning. Oh man, I could have cried. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Basically, at that point, I had like quick maths. I had a maximum of 120 hours available to me to get it ready for this opening weekend. Fixing the storm and the rain damage. That's it. That's eaten up 48 of those. It's like nearly half of it. So that means, unfortunately, I'm just not able to get Gasoline Alley open. There was originally time planned for it, and if I hadn't been robbed of those 48 hours, I could have got it in. But there's only one of me, and there's only so many hours available to do it. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get it open. I'm 2 days behind at this point still. I've got Thursday, Friday, today and tomorrow left. Opening's going ahead. That's happening. Come what may. We've had some late nights here, and do you know what? I tell you something. If it hadn't been like this time of year and it's staying light until 9 o'clock at night, I'd have been up the creek. So really thankful that it's been this time of year and been able to utilise as much of the daylight hours as possible. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud as well. That means I've still got a little bit of strimming to do as well. That's not such a big job. So yeah, unfortunately, Gasoline Alley is just going to have to be one of those ones for the future. I mean, not too distant future, but in terms of time, it's not possible. I can't be in two places. Once I can't be repairing this and getting this up and running and ready for opening and doing that. Those days will change, we'll have a point. Touch wood, don't jinx yourself on this one. Touch wood. We'll have a point in the not too distant future where we can bring some staff in and have some people here working with me and some help, and obviously things get done twice as fast. But right now, all the concentration's got to be on opening and just making everything happen for opening and putting right what went wrong on Sunday. So yeah, Gasoline Alley's for the future. I tell you what, actually, I've got to check some tracks anyway. I tell you what, I'll take you over and show you something else that's for the future as well. So also on Tuesday, to almost add insult to injury, I did something that I try and promise myself that I won't ever do. And on Tuesday, I got all panicky and I got that just kind of tick-tock thing in your head, and where you can't, you're not concentrating properly, and what you're actually doing is rushing around, and what I ended up doing was just not concentrating when I was reversing the car out of a bit of a tricky turnaround spot, reversing into a rock and snapped my exhaust. So basically that rush, the reason I try not to do that rushing around, it's flying my mouth, the reason I try not to do that rushing around is because you end up costing yourself time in the long run. So basically snap my exhaust and cost myself 3 hours of fixing that. There's part of me thinks that maybe this is how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy opening a place like this, is it? It's supposed to be a bit of a task, I suppose. So if that's the case, then it's all going as it should. Right, so I'm currently stood over on a track that's now called GAP. It was named by a guy called John Salter. If you didn't see the post, he was the winner of the Wall of Fame to name the track. So basically this is the track that has the kind of 12-foot log-to-log gap on it. Prior to Sunday and Noah ringing me and asking if he can have some of this larch for his ark, I had got over here to kind of do a bit of forward planning, thinking, right, well, by this time right now, Gasoline Alley should be done and yada yada. Anyway, last week I decided to do a bit of forward planning. So I've brought you over here today to kind of give you a look at what's coming and how I was thinking about it last week. So you kind of have to think in progressive 3D, if that makes any sense. So that's basically 12-foot launching forwards, and the next progression is to launch something big downwards. You know, if you tackle that, it's all about this. People who follow this for a while will know that this place and the track design is all about, once you've mastered one of these tracks, then there's that urge inside you to, I'm just going to see how far I can push myself and go again. So this, as I say, I was scouting over here for the go again. I'm probably going to have to turn you around and walk you down in that way. I've put a piece of wood up here to try and illustrate and show what I mean, but it's GoPro, it probably won't show. Anyway, not exactly sure how we're getting in on this line, but it's somewhere around this area. I'm not sure how we'll get into it, but we will find a way. I found this kind of like corridor of larch. I don't know if you can see yet, if it's showing up, but I sprayed on it the 2 yellow X's just to help me out. Now the score with this is I will, as this comes down and floats out, I don't know if my hand's showing, but I'll cut these larch and make them into a platform that extends out a bit like one of the, if any of you are familiar with the stuff in Squamish and Nelson over in British Columbia, like the old school ladder drops. It's kind of like a ladder drop, but more of a platform drop. So I'm going to, oh God, chuck the camera around. I'm going to cut these and send it out forward at a level, and obviously use the timber to build. But as this goes out at kind of around this point, that starts to go out at a level to meet up with where I've put the bead of wood, the ground falls away, probably not showing on the GoPro, but you'll run it down through here along this. You'll now be riding on like an elevated platform. I'm just going to watch my foot in here, and the ground drops away and drops away, but the platform will actually stay level until you get to this kind of point, and you're going to send down into this area in here. I don't know if this is going to actually work, but I stand 6'1" in my boots, and I don't know if you can see, but I can't quite reach the top of the platform. So what is it, like another foot above me? So I'm going to have to measure that. I don't know exactly what it is now, but I know it's not going to be 12 feet, but it's going to, as I say, bring you down into this area. We'll put a landing in here and bend you down and into these trees and cut through some trees here. You can kind of, I don't know if that GoPro angle is going to show at all, but the bead of where it is kind of showing where you're going to drop off. Obviously knock out this branch off this tree here and allow some room. But that's the kind of thought process of it. You've achieved 12 foot forwards. I don't think it's going to be quite 12 foot down, but the next one to achieve is, can you do the same sort of gap but downwards? So trying to keep it sort of 3D, so to speak, and not just keep making you go forwards again, or keeping the same thing again, presenting new challenges wherever I can. As I say, this is going to be an interesting build. It's back to the more kind of woodworky side of things, which is what I'm more comfortable with. But I'm really looking forward to getting this one in. And obviously with the only being open at weekends, that allows me time during the week to get on, first of all, to get Gasoline Alley in. But this is kind of the direction that we're going in, and I suppose it's only right to share that with you. So I don't usually do the kind of dishing out of advice, because a lot of the time I kind of think, well, what qualifies you to be given that? But on this occasion, I do feel qualified to be able to do it. So if you're thinking about setting up a business on your own, all I could advise is would be really worth having a good long hard think about whether you can find somebody to partner up with you, because doing it on your own is it's quite stressful, to be honest, and yeah, it's difficult. I mean, like times like this, I'm back in the car again. I've got to go and verify some bank account, which means I've got to go back to the bank, and I don't really have time to be messing about with that. And if there was two of you and you were partnered up, then one of you can say, right, I'm going to go and sort this out, and the other one can crack on with the jobs. And, you know, it just, if you are thinking of doing it, a partnership would be a great way forward. However, if you find yourself in the same position as me, where, like I was in a position where asking another person to say, hey, look, man, this is going to take like at least 15-16 months to set up and get done, and there's going to be no income for over a year. You know, that's something that you can't really ask somebody to partner up with you and get involved in. So if you find yourself in a position where you have to do it by yourself, my advice there is never ever, not even once, take your eyes off the prize. There's going to be all stuff like this, and things happen, and nature against you, and all, just loads of things that crop up to try and rock you off course, and you just have to totally just focus all the time, and when stuff happens that distracts you, bring yourself back into focus for what you're doing. At the end of the day, for me, this weekend and finally opening the place that's not job done. It means I'm one step further to where I want to be. My goals for this place are a lot more longer term than that. You know, getting all the tracks in that I want to get in, and you know, which we're looking at, like, you know, playing with like between 28 and 36 tracks, getting the uplift service in, and just all bits like that. You've just got to keep focused and keep going, because stuff will turn up and happen that you know, if you stress about it, or you let yourself get distracted from why you're doing this, you give yourself a bloody heart attack. So it's about, what, 9 o'clock. It's starting to get a little bit dusky here. I'm having to shout over the top of that thing going here. So it's starting to get a little bit dusky. Excuse me. So it's time to swap over to some sign making stuff again. I've made a new one of the GNAR signs, and I've got a couple more signs to do. I've got to that kind of tired point now. It's been the craziest week. I've got to that kind of point now where I'm thinking, I feel like I've forgotten something. I'm gonna have to, like, when I get set off again tomorrow morning, I'll like have morning coffee and make a bit of a list. I've got my Stevie Smith. Oh, it's not 10 past 9, it's 10 to 9. Got my Stevie Smith picture up underneath the clock, just to remind us all that we're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time. Oh man, this is a tune. Turn it up louder. Joe Wiley's dropping bombs. Right, unfortunately I've let it get to daft o'clock again. Well, I say I've let it. I should probably rephrase that. I don't let it get to daft o'clock, it just is, that's how the day's gone on. So, the idea is I'm going to get home. I'm going to get home and I'm going to have something to eat. I'm going to try and get this up. Now, I appreciate that it's going to be late. It may be Friday morning when I get it up, and I appreciate not a lot of you are going to see it until Friday. But if any of you are riding here at the weekend, I suppose just to inform you about what's been going on this week, and the fact that, you know, we've had the storm damage and that's kind of put us behind a bit, especially certainly with regards to Gasoline Alley. But I'm going to take advantage of being able to speak to you all early if possible, just with something that I've put on the bottom of the notes here. So you know, sessioning features is an inherent part of mountain biking, and going back and practicing certain sections, to the desire to want to do that is, I think it's really important. And for example, like on like a big looped ride at perhaps a trail centre, you go past something and you kind of gone, and that's it. You can't get another go at it. So it is important to be able to do that. But I do just ask that if somebody shouts dropping in at the top and they're coming in for a full run, that we need to just make sure that they get priority and they're completing a full run of the track, and if we can all make sure that we can give way to them, basically. You know, just in the same way as you might want to session a section, but you also might want to later on do a full run, and it'd be a complete nightmare if there was people kind of walking around, hanging around on the jumps and stuff, and it would spoil your running. So we could just think about, you know, about other riders. Hey, you know, who am I talking to? I know what you're all like already. That's the whole point of this club, and you all do. We are all considerate to each other, so that's going to run just smooth and fine. Friday, in about 10 minutes. Friday tomorrow. So I feel like there's stuff that I've forgotten, and I'm going to have to just, like with my morning coffee, decide on what that is. But bits and pieces to square up still. I'm going to buff up and groom the tracks as well. So I'm going to remove all those annoying little kind of piddly little twigs that get up and get in your ear derailleur and just a pain. So I'm going to give them a bit of a buff up and clean them up a bit. Obviously we've got overnight when more come down. What can you do? I'm going to clean them up as best I can. And yeah, really I'm looking forward to getting you all here. So I'll be the guy in here behind the counter. Oh, well, you might get a chance to meet my wife as well. But more than likely I'll be the guy in here behind the counter, right, with huge bags under his eyes. So hope to see you soon anyway.